Okay, so I'm going to do something that I haven't done before. I'm going to split up the Legend of Korra Season 3 finale, since it was one big movie. However, I'm going to split it up into two different parts, because I've got a lot to talk about with it, and I figured I wouldn't want to make this video too long, like maybe 2 hours or a whole hour or something like that. I decided to split it up into two parts. So, I'm going to talk about episode 12 in this video, and then the next video will be episode 13, the finale. So, episode 12, Enter the Void. Which again sounds like a Doctor Who episode. Don't lie, it does. So, Enter the Void starts off with Korra and her father and the rest of the group trying to figure out a plan of attack to get back the Airbenders without giving Korra up. However, Korra convinces them that, there's no way this is gonna work without, one of those guys spotting us and Zahir killing all the Airbenders, so I'm gonna give myself up. So she radios into Zahir and tells him, look, I'm gonna give myself up if you don't, if you give us the Airbenders. The Airbenders are unharmed, I'm gonna give myself up. To which, Korra, pretty much agrees to all this. And meanwhile, Sue suddenly realizes, hey, they don't know how many people are coming. So Lin, Tonrock, and Sue, along with her metal benders, head out and stay hidden with Korra when he gives himself up to Zahir, while Asami, Mako, and Bolin go to retrieve the Airbenders. Meanwhile, we cut back to Zahir, who is meditating and waiting for Korra's arrival. Then Pali comes in, and Pali more or less tells him, gives a bit of her backstory, basically saying, if you hadn't saved me from that warlord, I would have been nothing but a weapon. And let me say this, I didn't realize how tall Pali was. When they first showed her, I thought she was just sitting on Zahir's lap. No, she is a big bitch. She is literally like a foot taller than Zahir. Zahir's a little, man, she is tall. I didn't realize that, but no, it's kind of a romantic scene. It's funny that the only shipping we've ever got from this season was from the villains, and it's done well. Anyway, so I was kind of like, when they showed that moment between Pali and Zahir, I was like, something's gonna happen here, isn't it? And trust me, it does. So Mako, Bolin, and Asami head out to the Northern Air Temple, which you can clearly see the damage that, the battle between the Red Lotus and Boomy, and Aang's children left behind. And, yeah, it looks like it was torn to shit. So they meet Ghazan there, who Ghazan pretty much tells them, Airbenders are this way, and meanwhile, Korra gives herself up to Pali and Zahir. And this leads to, obviously, Tonrock, Sue, and Lin, along with Sue's metal benders, silently following behind. And then we realize, let me get my Admiral Akbar voice here, it's a trap! And, yeah, they only managed to, so Mako, Bolin, and Asami only managed to find Tenzin. And this leads to a battle between, Mako and Bolin versus Minghua and Ghazan round 2. Or you could say round 3, actually. And meanwhile, even though Korra gets locked up by platinum chains, she still manages to fight. This leads to Tonrock leading the others into a fight with Pali and Zahir. So Tonrock and Korra are fighting Zahir in a father-daughter team-up, which was actually pretty cool, because even though, like I said, Korra was handcuffed, she still managed to hold her own pretty well. Yeah, she still managed to hold her own pretty well. And meanwhile, Sue and Lin and Sue's metal benders are battling Pali. And the fight in here is pretty good. And of course, Mako and Bolin can't really do shit against Minghua and Ghazan, and it leads to Ghazan burning down the Northern Air Temple. Yes, the Northern Air Temple Ghazan destroys the Northern Air Temple. It's gone. Like, it is fucking gone. It is melted down to ash, or whatever is left behind by lava. Shut up. Anyway, so the group, Mako's group, now with Tenzin, are trying to find a way out of the building, out of the temple as it's being melted to the ground. And Bolin, god damn it, Bolin, you are still annoying in this episode. Like, he comes up with this, in the beginning of this episode, he comes up with this stupid-ass plan where he suddenly, he's like, hey, I'll pretend to be a hiker and gain their trust, and then you guys can come in and, no, that's stupid. At least he admits it's just... No, wait, Mako says it's a stupid idea. And then, it's pretty much run for... Did anyone see that movie, Volcano, or Dante's Peak? Anyone see that movie? And then watch this scene with Tenzin and, Asami, Mako, and Bolin trying to escape from the lava? Anyone get flashbacks to those movies? Like I said, Volcano or Dante's Peak? Was it just me? Okay. Anyway, so we cut back to, the awesome fight between Korra's team and Pali and Zahir. And once again, that fight was very well done. I'll always give credit to Legend of Korra. They make some very good bending battles. They really make some amazing bending fights. But anyway, this is where we get the second death of the show. And for a second, I thought it was Tonrock because Zahir pretty much sucks him up in a vortex and shoots him off a cliff. And I'm like, oh my god. And then there's like a split second of, oh my god, did they just kill off Tonrock? And then I suddenly thought, he's probably still alive. But then this happens. They once again finish off somebody. They once again just take out somebody. Just like that. And it's a fight between Pali and Lin fighting... it's Lin and Sue fighting Pali. And Pali is about to do the number on Lin. And suddenly, Sue does this. She metal bends her armor off of her body and shoots it at Pali's face, just as she's about to fire her combustion weapon. And, for the lack of the better word, Sue causes Pali to blow her own head off. They don't show it, but boom. No more, I was like, damn! You are going for the throat, Legend of Season 3. I'll give you that. So, Pali is killed. And Zahir, you actually feel bad for Zahir, because he's actually like, oh my god, I just lost the woman I love. And you could just see in his eyes that it's like, uh-oh. So he manages to beat Korra and catch her, and then he does the thing that made me go, oh shit! Like, no, this literally made me go, oh my frickin' god. What he does, basically, is... Oh my god. What he basically does is... He says, basically, Guru Lahima's, old sayings. And then he falls off the cliff, and then does what no other airbender has managed to do in apparently 400 years. That fucker starts flying like Superman. Like, he's up there, and Lin and Sue are like, okay, so he can fly. Oh shit. So yeah, Zahir can now fly, and Ghazan says this. Well, it doesn't look like he needs a ride. So, yeah. Yeah, that happened. And then we cut back to Mako's group, who are still trying to outrun the lava and get out of the now dying temple. And pretty much this happens, and this is where I suddenly go, what the shit? Bolin, to stop the lava, he suddenly gains the ability to lava bend. Now, let me say this. You might be asking, well, why do you hate Bolin's lava bending compared to Zahir's sudden ability to start flying? Allow me to explain. Zahir has trained years. We can assume that he's been training a majority of his life around the airbender culture. We can assume that he's obviously, studied the works of Guru Lahima and the airbender culture on a whole. So it would make sense that, he would learn to let go of his earthly needs and gain that unlocked ability of airbending flight. So I can believe that. I can believe that all that training. Now let's talk about Bolin and his sudden urge to lava bend. That just happens. There was no training for Bolin being a lava bender. There was no hint of Bolin being a lava bender. There was nothing that would indicate that Bolin can suddenly lava bend. It was just convenience! Convenience bending! That's literally what it was. And they do try to give a half-assed explanation of, oh, you suddenly believed in yourself and you can bend. It's kind of like when Korra can just magically airbend when, during Season 1, when she suddenly gained the ability to start airbending and to fight Amon. It's kind of like that. And you could argue that, Korra was training. Yeah, she sucked at her training. She just got it because of convenience bending. That's literally what it was with Bolin. That is literally what it was with Bolin. And the half-assed explanation does not suit well with me. Was it just because, we need to get out of this impossible situation? And no one wanted to spoil it online before I saw the episode. And everyone's going, oh my god, Bolin, oh my god, Bolin. And I thought to myself, yay, Bolin dies! And there was a quick second. Actually, in this episode on a whole, in this part of the episode, it felt like there are some moments, excluding Poli's death, where a lot of people, where you think a lot of people are going to die. There's a quick second where I thought Lin was going to die. There was a second where I thought Tonrock was going to die, like I said. There was even a moment where I thought Bolin was going to die, because they kind of give that quick scene of Bolin looking at the lava, and I thought for a second, he's going to sacrifice himself to get them out of there. And that would have been a major hit. That would also, obviously, Tenzin survived, so that moment where you thought, the last episode is where I thought, oh, Tenzin lived. I should have brought that up. I know, I should have brought that up earlier in the review, but yeah. You've probably seen the episode, so yeah. Tenzin doesn't die, but that was a pretty good cliffhanger. But yeah. Anyway, they suddenly, after Bolin's convenience bending, I'm gonna keep doing that. Kai comes in on a baby bison and rescues them all, and yeah, they reconnect with Tonrock and all of them, who runs into one of the captains, who I'm guessing in the second episode is going to play a bigger part, because they name her. I'm like, you're going to be a bigger plot point, aren't you? So yeah. But yes, they do reconnect with everybody, and then Kai tells everyone. Kai pretty much says, oh, I followed them to these caves, and now, we can go find the airbenders. So they set out to find the airbenders and also try to find Korra. And in that, we cut back to, Zahir, who's back up with Ghazan and Minghua, and he pretty much tells them, Pali sacrificed herself for our cause, and we're going to make sure she didn't die in vain. So I'm glad to see Zahir isn't like, oh, well, Pali died, oh, well. At least he's giving some conviction about his belief, Again, I have to stress about how scary of a villain Zahir is, because he's one of those he's a very real villain of dying for his beliefs, no matter what. He feels like he's got nothing to lose. Now that he's gained his power of flight, now he's more dangerous than ever in more ways than one. On the grounds of, this guy can now more or less bend the air around him to give him flight, but also he's still willing to die for his beliefs, and that's a very real threat in, a society we deal now. And I said this earlier, in the episode, the stakeout. I almost said steakhouse. Yeah, it's totally Zahir's evil plan is to open up a chain of Longhorn steakhouses throughout the Earth Kingdom. It's a terrifying plan. I now want that to be a meme, by the way. Oh, man. But I digress. So this part of the episode more or less ends with Korra still thinking that her father was killed by Zahir, and the members of the Red Lotus forcing this poison on Korra. And yeah, she's chained up and shit's about to happen. So this part of the episode was just a lot of action, a lot of holy shit moment. There's a lot of holy shit moments going on. This was a really great opener to the two-part finale, and yeah, if you thought, this was good, you just wait till I start talking about part 2. So, hell, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I stopped recording, I stopped watching the video, stopped watching the video to talk about this, because I figured this was gonna be so big that I had to split it up into 2 parts. So yeah, truth be told, I haven't watched the second episode as of this recording, but stay tuned, because I'm going to come right back and talk about part 2. But once again, you guys tell me what you thought of this episode, you like it or hate it, and stay tuned for the next part. See you guys then.